Bank Arena in Liverpool, where Rob Cross has just dampened the atmosphere somewhat with a thoroughly convincing 6-1 win in his quarter-final against the local hero Stephen Bunting. Very, very impressive from Cross, averaging just over 100, keeping his running average for the tournament very, very solid. And we're about to bring you the last quarter-final between Chris Dobey and Gerwyn Price to decide who meets Rob Cross in the second semi-final. Scott Mitchell has rejoined myself, Ian Danter, in our commentary position. We're also live on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel tonight for all 7 matches. Please give us a like and a subscribe. Thank you so much for those that already have. We are thumping it in terms of numbers of subscribers. We always like to try and put fresh content up there for you. There's been an interview recently with Willie Borland and various other great interviews that we have during the week, and also debate shows with Colin Jaws Lloyd, one of our regular guests on our review preview shows on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. We're also your home of the EFL on talkSPORT 2, and boy oh boy have we got some big games over the weekend. Tomorrow night, Stoke City against Sheffield United. Stoke not quite safe at the foot of the table. Sheffield United know now they cannot get automatic promotion, and it's the playoffs for the Blades. That's live on talkSPORT 2 tomorrow night, an 8 o'clock kickoff. And then Saturday lunchtime, what a game I'm being sent to at Kenilworth Road. Luton Town can get out of the bottom 3 for a couple of hours at least if they can beat Coventry City. If they do that, they will also put massive pressure on Coventry, who are currently holding on to the one remaining playoff spot in the Championship in 6th place, with Middlesbrough and Millwall, even Blackburn and West Brom lurking. That's a 12:30 kickoff here on talkSPORT 2. I'll be with Alvin Martin at Kenilworth Road. Don't miss that. It's probably not for those of a nervous disposition, but it will be one hell of an afternoon. And there's lots of other really important games in the EFL going on around that time as well. Not least 2 of the top 3 in League 2 facing off at the Eco Power. Doncaster against Bradford, Leyton Orient, Wickham, Bristol Rovers are taking on. There's so much good stuff going on in the EFL, and I'll keep you across it from noon on Saturday. Scott Mitchell, what did you make of that? Well, it was a really efficient and calm and clinical performance from Voltage, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, Rob Cross knows what it's like to play in his own town. He plays at Brighton, and from just up the road from where he lives in Hastings, and he's a hometown favourite there, so he knows the pressure that was on Stephen tonight. You know, he's at the bottom of the table. He's won a weeknight. He wanted to come and win his second one here in Liverpool, so there's so much pressure on him. The fans wanted it, but what Rob Cross did was played efficiently and nicely enough to keep the crowd quiet. Had Bunting had got a couple of legs up, then that place would have been lifting the roof off, and that would have made it very, very difficult for Cross. But he played a masterful game and kept the crowd quiet, and that was the secret to that match for him.
Well, again, you can hear the MC, John McDonnell, getting ready to welcome the final 2 quarter-finalists to the stage at the M&S Bank Arena. A packed M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool, barely a seat to be had as the Premier League continues to smash records for attendances, whether we're here on the UK mainland or in continental Europe. These are some of the hottest tickets in town. And as the strains of PJ and Duncan head through the PA, it's time for Hollywood Chris Dobey to make his way to the stage. And Dobey, who won in Rotterdam, took on Stephen Bunting in last week's final and saw him off 6-2, unaffected by all the worries about drafty conditions and wind blowing across the stage. He just got the job done, Scott.
Yeah, he was asked sort of bluntly and outright about the draft gate that was going on in Rotterdam, and he said it just didn't really affect my darts, you know, let's move on. And that's exactly what he did. He kept moving on and went and won the final.
And so now we switch to his opponent, the Welsh Wizard. Not the Welsh number 1 anymore, that's Johnny Clayton at the moment, who is heading to Graz as we speak, no doubt, as number 1 seed for the Austrian Darts Open. But Gerwyn Price, a former world champion, is heading to the stage now. Didn't succeed in his hometown of Cardiff. Lost in the quarter-final a week ago to Nathan Aspinall, so he'll want to put that right. The former rugby player, man who owns a fish and chip shop in Cardiff, we shouldn't forget. A very, very confident young man. He's already doing the roar before he's even taken his darts out of his case. And we'll have the practice darts and then we'll be underway for this last quarter-final for the right to take on Rob Cross in the second semi-final. The first semi-final, which will be next up on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel, will be Luke Humphries against Michael van Gerwen. But Dobey, in his regulation black and white shirt in homage to his beloved Newcastle United, comes from Bedlington up there in the northeast. And I'm sure he'll be as delighted as we all are that Eddie Howe has recovered from the bout of pneumonia that saw him hospitalised over the weekend. The Newcastle manager back at his desk today, which is great to hear, because you can't take pneumonia lightly. You've got to fight your way through it, and he's okay and he's back working, which is great news. So Gerwyn Price and Dobey just going through the last few practice darts before George Noble, the most experienced referee on the circuit as things stand, will call them to order. And we'll see whether the Iceman can see off Hollywood. And it will be Chris who has the honour. And we'll get us underway here in the final quarter-final. Race to 6 as always. Lovely first dart. There's plenty more room for 2 more treble 20s along with the first, but he ends up with a steady ton, does Dobey.
Yeah, good to open with a nice ton. You want a couple of treble visit. That's exactly what Price has done. So asserts a little bit of pressure from throw 1.
Well, Dobey is going to Austria tomorrow, but didn't go to Munich last weekend for the German Darts Grand Prix, electing to sit that one out. Price went out to Munich, and he's not going to Austria, so it's a bit of a switch around. Price ended up going out to Josh Rock in the round of 16, who was in scintillating form. He beat Barney in the round of 32, but then ran into the Northern Irishman, who's, I'm amazed he didn't make the final the way he was playing, Josh Rock.
Josh has been a sensational talent. I was fortunate enough when I was in the Pro Tours. He was sat on a similar table to me under the same management at the time as John O'Shea and Alan Souter, and we all sat on the same table, and the stuff that he was coming back and stuff that he was achieving, then a few things sort of like went a bit south for him, and it was a bit of a management struggle, and it didn't kind of work for him, but now he's back on form and he's throwing some sensational darts again, Josh Rock.
Well, Gerwyn Price is down to a finish of 72, but Dobey to hold throw once 116. Needed treble 19 after a single, but hit single 3. Decent cover on treble 18 to end the visit to leave himself on tops. 72 though for Price. Another 16 would leave him with tops. At the top of the board. Oh, just bends the wire. Not to be.
Dobey gets back for the double top. First dart, smack bang centre.
Well, that will do no harm at all to hold throw. But Price straight in the red bit at the start of the second leg, and there's the first maximum, but not a flicker of emotion from the Welshman for hitting that max. I think he's annoyed that he didn't take the leg a few seconds before. Is that the case then? You mentioned, sitting with your teammates from your management stable. Is that how things often happen at Pro Tour events? Those who are with, everyone sits together and sort of, for want of a better expression, cliques?
Yeah, for want of a better expression, it is. I mean, I wasn't with their management stable. I was sort of like used to manage myself along with a couple of others who sat on the table. And yeah, of course, we were together in the BDO days, you know, Souter and John O'Shea. So we were the new guys on that year that arrived. So we ended up just naturally sitting with one another. And Josh was one of those as well, because they were in the same management stable as John O'Shea and Souter at the time.
Price on 144 to take his first leg of the match. Double 12 for a 144 checkout. Wow, Wow, that's great stuff from Gerwyn. Really nonchalantly took out the 1-4-4 there. It's 1 apiece in a race to 6.
Yeah, that's not his highest shot out in the Premier League. He's hit a 170 in Dublin on night 3, but in context of the situation, it's a timely one.
Dobey was in such consistent form last week in winning in Rotterdam. He posted 100 plus averages in quarter-final, semi-final and final. You don't get that particularly often in Premier League weeks where the winner posts 3 figures for each match he plays in. Price is looking good, picks off a 177 to pressurise the Dobey throw once again, down to 229 after 6. What can Dobey do? Oh, he's looking to fill it up. Oh, just under pitches the final dart, but a 140 keeps him just ahead in this leg.
77.
Yeah, it begs the question, will Dobey be asking him to open the doors later and try and create the same atmosphere as he had last week?
Maybe so.
I'm sure the rest won't like it, but yeah, he really revelled in it, didn't he?
He just didn't care. As I say, just brushed it off. 152 for Gerwyn. It won't go this time, the 3-dart checkout, with 2 single 20s in the end. In fact, it's a trebleless visit for Gerwyn. Snatches the darts angrily out the board. Dobey wants 114 to hold throw. Hits the treble 19 for double 19. He's only got 1 dart in hand. And he's way off. He's a good inch outside. So 92 for Gerwyn.
Hits the treble 20, smack bang centre, double 16. A bit wayward. We don't see him usually head to the 16s. Hits it. I think you heard the roar from wherever you were sat, no matter how many miles away you were from Liverpool. And he liked that one.
He is never shy of giving out the yelp at important moments in matches. He's broken the Dobey throw to go 2-1 up in a race to 6 and starts leg 4 with a maximum. Going through the gears, Gerwyn.
Yeah, he is indeed. I think actually tonight he's gone back to his old style flights, the white-based ones. I think he was using black-based ones for a couple of weeks, but he's now gone back to the old faithfuls, and it seems to be they are working like a charm this evening.
99 to follow up the max, but he's firmly in control of this 4th leg. But here comes Dobey. Lovely first start, follows it with a second, and he gets a maximum to try and regain some impetus. Good response from Hollywood.
You tell me what's wrong with that throw. I'll tell you what's wrong with it. Absolutely nothing. We all wish we had the motion and the throw of Chris Dobey.
It is as orthodox as they come. And from 181, he pins a 135. 128 for Price. It could go. Treble 14 for double 16. No, he stayed on the 18s for double 10. Oh, fantastic. And a real roar from the Iceman, acknowledged by Dobey. What an outshot from Gerwyn Price. Another ton plus checkout. And now he leads 3-1.
Yeah, awkward, the 128 shot out for any dart player. It's not a number we look to leave. 127's far better. But once you leave 128 and you hit that first treble, you have a decision. You stay there and try and hit the second for double 10. A single 18 is no use to you whatsoever. Or you have to come out and go for a treble 14 to leave 32. On this occasion, the second treble 18 went in and Price smashed in the double 10.
Dobey smashes in another 180. That's his 3rd of this match. Price has got 2. He's now got 2 darts sitting just above the red bit and now 1 below it. So a trebleless visit for Price gives the initiative to Chris Dobey in leg number 5. It's 3-1 to Price in a race to 6. Good covers on treble 19, not once but twice by Dobey there. Price drops his 3rd dart.
It's gone over the oche, but it's not thrown. It has to be thrown in a forward motion from over the elbow for it to count as a throw. But he picks it up nonchalantly and hits another treble 20.
Beautifully done. But Dobey on 94 hits treble 18 for tops. That was really nicely done. That's an 11 dart hold for Chris Dobey to bring it back to 3-2. But he's got to find a way to break the Price throw. Averaging 112, Chris Dobey. Price is 108. Just like the first game we saw between Aspinall and Humphries, high quality, heavy scoring from both players.
140.
As if by magic, Dobey pops in another high score of 140.
140.
Followed straight back by Gerwyn Price.
But Dobey is relentless from 3-6-1. Another max to take him down to 181 after 6 darts. You wouldn't know he was a breakdown. The way he's just calmly going about his business. Oh, there's a road dart from Dobey from 181 into single one. He is down to a finish. Doesn't want anything wayward here.
41.
Only 41 scored. But Price back on 206, Scott.
At this standard, it only takes one sketchy visit on a leg, and your opponent is all over you like a rash. And Price has done it again. Left himself 32. 140 for Dobey. Can he counteract and go back with a big one of his own? Grimaces on the teeth because he misses it. 80 in the board. Now just being sensible. Big 20. But he's going to have to pray that he misses this 32.
Inside double 16 Price. Double 8 next door. He's a good inch outside. And like before, it doesn't matter that he's an inch outside. He pins that double 8. Another yelp from the man from South Wales, and he's 4-2 up. That was half a chance for a breaker throw for Dobey. And now he starts leg 7, Dobey, with a trebleless visit. And Price looks to punish him. Oh, in the red bit. 3 times in a row, and that's a great start.
Yeah, super stuff from Price again. When he's roaring like a lion from Longley, you know he's playing well.
Right in the middle of the treble 20 with the first dart. Just couldn't match it with dart 5. Came down for the 19s on dart 6 and hit a single 3. Price has beaten Dobey twice so far in the Premier League. In week 1 in Belfast in the quarter-final, and then in week 9 in Berlin. And he's in the red bit, looking for a second maximum this leg. Actually went for the 18s on the final dart, but he's down to an exact ton to go 5-2 up. Dobey 167 left at the moment with 1 dart left in hand.
81.
Ends up with 81. Well, that's not going to go for Price. Just talking to himself as he leaves himself with 75. Where's he going to go from here? Treble 19, treble 17 he went, and it's single 17.
Well, there is a chance for Dobey, 167. We know he's capable. The players these days start on the treble 19. Totally the opposite to what they used to do 20 years ago. You wouldn't dream of it. But nowadays it seems to be the way.
Tops for Price. And much more muted celebrations from Gerwyn Price for getting that leg over the line. So he's 5-2 up. Just needs one more. And he's throwing in leg 8. And again, right back in the lipstick to start another leg with a maximum. And his average now, Gerwyn Price, is 107, but so is Dobey's. And he's 5-2 down.
Yeah, and you have to say with that 180, the writing is on the proverbial wall. Here goes Gezi again. 4 darts in, hits a treble 1. He's disappointed because he knows he's in the form to be able to hit another 9-darter.
Dobey's only had 3 darts at a double. A third as many as Price has had.
44.
Just not let him get to the outer ring that often as Gerwyn Price. And he is looking a face of studied concentration as he gets down to a finish. This has got to be a big visit from Dobey, otherwise his race could be run, and he knows it. He's shaking his head lightly. He does pin a 140, but that's not enough to get him down to a finish, and Price could finish with a flourish. Oh, single 19 after hitting a treble. He wanted the treble for double 12.
Yeah, treble 10 for 62 left. Sat on 32. Dobey can do nothing but add pressure now, and a big treble 5 is not adding pressure at all. And he hits another one for good measure and scores 90. So it's Price then for the match.
Just inside, double 8 next door. He's outside, but that hadn't stopped him before. And as before, The final dart is perfection. Another roar from Gerwyn Price as he seals victory. And a 6-2 win against Chris Dobey takes Gerwyn Price through to the semi-finals to take on Rob Cross. And that, again, well, we've seen some really top quality performances so far tonight. Ton plus averages. And certainly both those players didn't let us down, much as we saw in the first match you and I did between Aspinall and Humphries, Scott Mitchell.
Yeah, the guys get travelling around there. There's no airs and graces and chumminess anymore. They're chums off the hockey, and when they go up there, to perform. And we've seen some great performances here tonight. Some good 100-plus averages. This is exactly what the Premier League brings to you week in, week out, for 16 weeks until that final, when it goes back to London.
So we now know the semi-finalists. We know now that Gerwyn Price will take on Rob Cross. But next up here on your home of darts on the radio, talkSPORT 2, Laura will rejoin Scott, Laura Turner, alongside Scott Mitchell, and they will bring you full commentary on the first semi-final. Two former world champions facing off. Luke Humphries against Michael van Gerwen is next on the Premier League Darts Week 12, live in Liverpool. And when it comes to the Darts Premier League, the last thing you want is an online mishap throwing you off your game. Threat Protection Pro helps you dodge bogus sites, and with the Dark Web Monitor, you'll get a heads up if your personal info starts circulating in the online equivalent of the Madhouse. Just go to nordvpn.com/dartsvpn and they'll get you 2 years plus 4 months free and a birthday deal as well. It is risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Just check out the YouTube channel for the next stream, which will be Humphries against MVG with Scott Mitchell and Laura Turner coming up next here on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel.